This is 4 minutes for Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. Ready?
They fly now!
A long time ago, the mid-2000s, in a galaxy far, far away, my cousin's house, I had my first experience with Xbox with Jedi Academy. Now, after a surprise shadow drop onto the Nintendo Switch, I had a chance to go back and play the game again. So, does it hold up? Yeah. The story takes place 10 years after the events of the original trilogy, with Luke Skywalker training a small group of Padawans, including our player character Jaden. Throughout your training, the Academy is discovering an Imperial plot to steal dark side force energy from around the galaxy and use it to revive an old Sith Lord called Ragnos. The rest of the gameplay revolves around some optional training missions, usually involving the Sith cult, or mandatory story-driven missions that further the plot. On the whole, I kinda love this idea for a story taking place after the OT. It definitely feels more inspired and natural than the sequel trilogy. The game itself is, I guess, an action-adventure game focusing around third-person lightsaber combat and first or third-person shooting. As you progress, you unlock some new weapons and lightsaber styles, as well as dual-wielding lightsabers or a dual-bladed lightsaber, as well as progressing force abilities in both the light and dark sides. The light side is defensive, the dark side is offensive. Again, it feels very natural and is pretty engaging to balance and to progress your character. But when you try to bring all these cool concepts and the unique Star Wars identity into the actual gameplay, some of it starts to fall apart. Partially, this just comes from the fact that the game was originally released in 2003. The platforming is frequently clunky and unsure. The way forward is sometimes baffling when you don't know what is and isn't possible in the environment, especially when Force Sense does jack all. And the combat doesn't really feel controlled. There's cool moments where it all kind of lines up and feels very cinematic, but more often than not, it just feels like I'm flailing around hoping to hit something. And none of the good combat moments come from the gunplay. I occasionally used guns like the sniper rifle and rocket launcher to kill tougher enemies that I didn't feel like fighting, but the shooting most times is so inefficient that it's just the quickest way to get yourself killed. It's even less accurate than the lightsaber fighting. I mean, considering Halo Combat Evolved came out 2 years before this, that's not good. Being an older game, it also has some hilarious animation and some iffy voice acting in production. For one, everyone talks super close to the mic, and so there's no ambience and it's mixed so up front that it just sounds super cheap. And two, the voices of big name characters like Luke and C-3PO just do not hold up to what you want them to be, especially 3PO. The levels are a real mixed bag. Looking at them all together, I was actually pretty happy with the variety of locations, both well known in the universe and more obscure. It's clear that they tried hard to keep you engaged, and the 3 sets of 5 missions definitely kept me going more than the long drawn out story missions. Those training and Jedi missions had some really great one-off settings like a high-speed train, jail cells in a Rancor guarded tunnel, fighting to ascend a tower, all missions that I really enjoyed. Then there's some okay missions and then some really bad missions. The worst that comes to mind is a speeder bike mission where you're just trying to escape other speeders most of the time. It controls so poorly, it's total guesswork and is just not fun at all. I also despise the level where you have to escape without your lightsaber and there's a boss fight with a guy who's shooting a concussion rifle at you, hiding 4 stories up when you only have guns and your force powers. It really pissed me off and highlighted how unfun gunfights are and how crucial dark side powers are to winning. Oh, and it crashed 4 times, almost always trying to load an in-engine cutscene. I feel like I was pretty negative in this review, but I did enjoy playing the game. If it's split between good, funny bad, and annoying bad, then the annoying bad is definitely outweighed by the other two. It's no OG Battlefront 2 in terms of quality or my love for it, but it's fun to live in the universe and enjoyable enough. 6 out of 10? Yeah, a weak 6. And done.